What's up, everyone? This is Dayv Doberne, aka Sunyveil, and we're here to continue our quest for to create a tier 1 deck out of a brand new account without spending any money. Today we're going to be playing our first Forge, as we had a coupon from earlier that we hadn't used, and we're also going to cap off the video with getting our first versus win to make sure that we can get these promo cards. Okay, this quest we're probably just going to ignore for now. But in any case, let's go on to Forge. So, for those of you who are new to Forge, Forge is somewhat similar to Gauntlet in this game, in that you play a series of computer opponents, and your aim is to defeat 7 in a row. You do get one loss before your run isn't terminated until you've gotten 2 losses. So you have 1 loss to spare. And the way you pick cards in this is somewhat similar to Arena in Hearthstone, where you're given a choice of 3 cards, and you pick one of them each time. One thing to keep in mind is that once you pick cards from 2 different factions, it will lock you into those 2 factions. All Forge decks are going to be 2 faction decks. I don't think it's possible to make a mono faction deck, but anyway. Okay, so the first card that you see is always going to be a rare. We've got Frontier Jito, which is not very it's a constructed card because it's good in rush decks where you try to flood the board and attack with a lot of small units, but it's not too good in Forge. We've got Voice of the Speaker, which I think is pretty good, but some other people aren't such a fan of it. Anytime you draw a power spell with her on the table, you get 2 powers instead, because they have Echo. And there's Whispering Wind, which is also pretty good. Whenever it attacks, it's interesting. It has flying, and whenever it attacks, you can discard a card to draw a higher cost card from your deck. So, it's good when you have plenty of extra powers. You can discard the powers to make sure that they are action spells, action cards. And it's good late in the game when you want to upgrade something small to something big. So, the only problem with Whispering Wind is that you can't go the other way. If you're stuck on power, Whispering Wind is not going to help you. So I think it's either between Voice of the Speaker and Whispering Wind. I'm going to go ahead and take the Whispering Wind. I do think it's a close between these two, and I think Voice of the Speaker is very good, but it's somewhat inconsistent, and the effect in the late game isn't quite as big. One more note before I go ahead and pick this. I am known for avoiding fire in Draft and Forge at all costs. It's become somewhat of a meme on my stream. I think that fire is just the least consistent. It's difficult to attack past like a 2/5, and it's difficult to stop flyers. So I will go to great lengths to avoid fire in when I'm playing Draft or Forge. So I'm going to go ahead and play this Whispering Wind. We're looking to pair this Whispering Wind with either Time or Shadow, because that will give us access to the powerful multi-faction cards. I guess I should have explained this a little better, but the faction pairings that are currently supported are Shadow Primal, Shadow Fire, Fire Justice, Justice Time, and Time Primal, and they all have names which you should go ahead and start getting used to. But in any case, we don't see a Time or Shadow card here, which are the pairings that we want, so we're going to go ahead and take Aerial Ace. I mean, it is actually better than these 2 other cards, but it's not terribly exciting. Okay, so here we have the pairings that we want. We've got a 7/7 that can gain Overwhelm, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, but I think it's actually pretty powerful. We've got Dark Wisp, which works well with a lot of the sacrifice effects, and we've got another Sky Snapper, another air unit. I'm going to go ahead and take the Dormant Sentinel. I think that, it's a very powerful card in Forge. It blocks very well, and then when you want to turn the game around, you can start attacking. Alright, we're going to follow that up with the Cobalt Acolyte. This card is very good when paired with Time, I think, because Time has a lot of big units, and this can give one of them flying. Alchemical Blast is a reasonable card, dealing 2 damage, and I would just try to avoid Cloud Snake Hatchling in general. Okay. We're going to go ahead and take the Lightning Strike. I don't like one drops, just generally speaking. Unless it's Oni Ronin, I'm not a huge fan of one drops. And Days, there's a card called Flash Freeze that stuns 2 units for 3 in Primal. Days being factionless has its benefits, and I will play a Days every now and then, but generally speaking, you avoid it when there are better options. And Lightning Strike is a reasonable removal card, so take that. And here we have some uncommons. These two are good. The Spiked Helm is not very exciting. It's a very minimal effect. I'm going to go ahead and take the Wyvark. Nesting Aviasaur is really nice when you have Echo units. But for the most part, it's just a 3/3 flyer, and for 1 more power, you can get a 3/3 flyer with Killer, which is great at clearing the skies out, so I'll take the Wyvark. Okay. I'm going to take the Sapphire Dragon. It's just another good card to close out games, and this is, by the way, my favorite faction pairing. It's called a Legion when you pair Primal with Time. This is no surprise to anyone that's a regular on my stream. Oh my goodness. Well, okay, so this is really interesting, and for a number of reasons. I think we'll win more games with Accelerated Evolution. This is one of the best bombs in all of the limited formats, in Forge or Draft. You like the number of times I've lost this card in drafts is ridiculous. But we also have a legendary which disenchants for a whole 800 dust, and it's not bad. I mean, 7 for a 6/6 flying endurance is great, and it also has the added effect of putting basically a free ancestral recall in your deck when you draw it. So that's pretty good. It is guaranteed value. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take the guaranteed value. I think that if you're trying to win games, Accelerated Evolution is a little better. But this being a new account, and we're trying to get up to a certain deck, just taking the guaranteed value is good. And like, this card is good too. I mean, it's it's really big. But on my main account, I might take the Accelerated Evolution, where I'm not, where my need to get cards is not as great. Okay, so we have Yeti Snowslinger, which is nice because it's a nice cheap 2-drop, and we also have Static Bolt, which kills most 2-drops. Since this game is looking like it's going to, or we're trying to stall out the game to get to our top end. I think I'm actually going to take the Static Bolt. Like, Yeti Snowslinger can trade with a lot of 2-drops, but Static Bolt can get 2-drops in the air and whatnot. Okay, this is interesting. This is another interesting pick. We've got Jotun Hurler, which is really nice, drawing a snowball when you draw it. So basically, I think the way to think about this card is not as a 4/4 that comes with a snowball. Snowball, of course, is there we go. Is a 1-power spell that deals 1 damage. I like to think of this card as the Snowball, which comes with a 4/4. So you have a pinging spell with the Snowball, but you also get a 4/4 later in the game, and that's really good. There's also Soaring Stranger, which I think is pretty good. If we play against the Strangers deck, this is going to be a huge liability. Just a 3/3 flyer for 4 is very efficient. But I think I'm going to take the Jotun Hurler here. It's cheaper. It's effectively cheaper anyway. Okay. So, this is an interesting one. I don't think we want the Arachnodon, seeing as we have 2 cards that are way better than Arachnodon. Well, 3 cards that are way better than Arachnodon. That cost 6 or 7. We can take the Synchronized Strike, which is a pretty mediocre card, or we could take the Water of Life, and I don't think Water of Life is generally playable, but considering our deck just isn't going to have very many units, like, look at this, we already have 6 cards that cost 7 or more. I just don't think Synchronized Strike is going to do a whole ton. It's probably still a little better than Water of Life, so I'll take it, but I have never been more tempted to take Water of Life in my life. So, yeah, okay. So, we are really not getting the inexpensive units, and I'm honestly pretty afraid that we're going to get run over early. We can take the Stormcaller, which is good at removing small units. We can take the Mirror Image, which is a cheap way of duplicating one of your bigger units. And this actually works really well with Accelerated Evolution because the bonuses given by Accelerated Evolution are maintained when you copy a unit. But I'm going to take the Stormcaller. It'll help kill some of the smaller units, and it works pretty well with Static Bolt and um, Snowball. Okay, so here we have here we have another tough pick because all of these are really expensive. I don't think I'm taking the Trailblazer, and Windshaper is generally pretty good, better than Northwind Herald, but we do have a bunch of like cheap spells, so maybe being able to get the Northwind Herald down early could be good. Maybe. I think I'm going to take it. We need ways to cheat on power, and Northwind Herald is a way. Okay, so another group of cards that I'm not interested in taking. Refresh is actually a reasonable trick. And it will help whatever blocker we have early on, so I'll take that. Alright, Daggers is generally a pretty good card, but we're going to take the Lightning Strike. It's early removal, which will hopefully let us live until longer. I also like having one Violent Gust in these Elysian decks. I certainly don't need a 5 power 3/5 that doesn't do anything else, and Backlash isn't too exciting, so we're going to take the Gust. Okay, and now we have a choice between Tundra Explorer, which is a 2/2, essentially a 2/2. The effect rarely triggers. And a Determined Stranger, which is essentially a 3/3. Infinite Hourglass is also pretty good, but I think our need for small units is big enough that... Sorry, the words that I chose were perhaps not the best. We have a need for small units, so I'm going to go ahead and take the Determined Stranger. It blocks pretty well. Okay, another Cobalt Acolyte. Don't know how useful that's going to be in this deck, but it's a unit we can play early. Ooh, Xenon Guardian. Xenon Guardian is a card I am a huge fan of because it blocks early, and then in the late game it becomes a very difficult to deal with win condition. There's also the possibility of Island's Favor because that draws a Sigil, and we're going to be pretty power hungry, but I don't think I can pass up a Xenon Guardian for it. Alright, we're going to take an Island's Favor. Small effect of getting an Aegis helps prevent burning out your opponent burning you out, but it also draws a Sigil, and we're going to need Sigils. We can easily get stuck with this deck. Okay, this is really unfortunate. Like, I think that Windshaper is probably better. It blocks better, and we have a few flyers, but like I don't want something that costs 5. I want things that cost 2 or 3. And here's a great card for us, Bold Adventurer. It blocks extremely well. There are a few 2-drops that trade with it, but most 2-drops get stonewalled by Bold Adventurer, so it's a very nice defensive card to have. There's also another Lightning Strike, but I definitely want the Bold Adventurer here. Okay. We can take another unit in Sky Snapper. Unfortunately, it's Reckless, which means that it attacks every turn, and if your opponent has a 1/5 flyer, Tower Top Patrol, or Karmic Guardian, you could be in trouble, but I think generally it's pretty good at attacking, and it blocks the turn that enters play. Okay, so this is an interesting one. This certainly cards that I'm interested in seeing, a 2/2 on the ground or a 1/3 in the air. I think that because we have the Windshaper, I'm going to take the Eastwind Herald. Elysian Stranger is certainly nice, and it helps fix for, well, you know what, like, Curiox is really difficult to play. Got a bunch of double primal cards. Nah. This is better. So I'm going to take the Eastwind Herald. Nice defensive 2-drop. Okay, and our last pick is also going to be a rare. Ephemeral Wisp isn't bad at blocking, but Eye of Winter really shuts people down. It does a good job of shutting people down. We just need to, as long as we can draw enough power for this deck, I think we're good. So the deck construction of adding power happens automatically in Forge. In Draft, you will have to add your own power. One more thing I want to note. I didn't mention this before, but there is a great resource for evaluating picks if you're new to it. I've played this game a lot, so I have a good idea of what I think is powerful and what I think isn't. But if you're new to it and there's just a lot of cards, you can check out RNG's draft pick order, and it has most of these cards. I don't think it's been updated yet for the open beta, but it has most of these cards and a letter grade on how powerful he thinks they are. And for the most part, I agree. There are some disagreements I have, but for the most part, those ratings are accurate. Okay, let's see what we can do. So this is going to be like Gauntlet. It's going to be AI opponents with similar decks as the Gauntlet decks, and well, I guess we'll keep this. It means that we have a Dragon's Eye in our deck from the onset. This could be a little scary against an aggressive start. There's some help for it. Anyway, so we're going to try to get to 7 wins, and the final boss does have an effect similar to the Gauntlet final boss. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and Lightning Strike this here. It's eventually going to be a 2 Power Flyer, which might be difficult to deal with. Well, that is probably right now. Yes, okay. Did they get rid of anything interesting? Not really. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and kill this now. Part of that is because I'm going to I want to play the Eye of Winter this turn. And start using it, and then I will be short on power. Okay, so Frostkin just playing out a 3/3, attacking. Judging by the name Chilling Touch, I take it they're trying to stun me a lot. And fortunately for us, Kuriox has Endurance, which means that he cannot be stunned. He, she, it? Not sure. Cannot be stunned. Alright, it's a good thing that we're holding on to our Cobalt Acolyte. Our opponent used a 1 damage spell. Okay, another Spore Folk. Let's see if they got rid of anything interesting. No, nothing too interesting. They've got a couple 6/6s, but that's not the scariest thing. Oh, speaking of Endurance, there's a Xenon Guardian, which has Endurance. Unfortunately, my opponent's going to be able to attack with the 3/3 here, and I'm not going to block because of how powerful Xenon Guardian is. But I think it's important to get this on the ground. Here we can give the Xenon Guardian flying an attack, and we have leftover power to stun the Frostkin. I could use Lightning Strike, but I think there will be a situation where I can stun and use Lightning Strike somewhere down the line. Alright, well, we're going to attack again, and now we're just going to play Kuriox, and we're going to ride the dragon to victory. So, one thing I did here, which is very common if you're drafting Elysian, is I levitated the Xenon Guardian with the Cobalt Acolyte. That's a very common play to attack for 3 in the air and then be able to block because Xenon Guardian has Endurance, which means that readies on each player's turn. It also has ultimate give +5/+5 to this unit, so now we have an 8/8 flyer that has Endurance. And that's going to be it in short order. In this game, our deck's game plan worked out very well. I don't expect it to be this smooth every single time. All right, let's attack with both, and there we go. So we weathered the early storm, and then we got our big Endurance units out, and that was enough to carry us to victory. As you can see, well, I'll talk about more, but the prizing structure of Forge is a little different than that of Gauntlet. And we're going to go ahead and redraw this hand because we only have time in this. Okay, here we have both factions, that's good. We even have a Snowball to help us with the early defense. And Primal Fury probably isn't playing the Stranger deck, so we don't have to worry about our opponents' Strangers being buffed by Determined Stranger. Oh, look at that. They played a 1/1. Perfect. Perfect for the Snowball. Alright. Hopefully this Determined Stranger is going to be good at blocking. We do need a few more power in order to be able to play our 5-drops. Oh, 1/1? Okay. Yes, the beginning Gauntlet and Forge decks, especially the ones that you face at the beginning, are not the scariest things in the world. I'll go ahead and attack. I could Cobalt Acolyte to give this flying, but I just want to get the Bold Adventurer down there. Because that also blocks the 1/1. Alright. Yeah, I'll go ahead and attack. In case there's a Lightning Strike or something, I will have Refresh for that, but my opponent doesn't have one. I'm actually just going to give this Cobalt Acolyte flying to itself to help with its evasion. I'm going to take one here, that's fine. And a Scaly Gruin. Okay. Well, let's just attack here. I can attack both of these. Oh, I probably should have. Oops. I missed 2 damage here. I could have attacked with both of these. The Gruin would block one of them and the other one would get through. Okay. So, if I attack with everything and I manage to use Static Bolt plus Refresh, there's a Lightning Strike. Oh, you know what? This Refresh is really going to pan out, giving 4 health to this so that the Lightning Strike doesn't kill it, and that 4 health is retained for as long as this lives. Or actually, it's a permanent buff to the unit, so even if this dies or is returned to my hand, it'll have that 4 health buff. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and Static Bolt to finish off the Gruin, and that's my second spell of the turn, so I can play the Northwind Herald. This should be over in short order. Arachnodon? No, just another Scaly Gruin. Alright, unfortunately that comes into play depleted, so I can't play any of my 5s, but this position is certainly very favorable for me. They can use like double Lightning Storm or something to kill most of my units, but that's not great for them either. Well, playing any of these first doesn't really matter, plus we have lethal on the board. Alright, 2 wins. 5 to go. Still a long ways to go. Right. Okay, so the prize structure in this one is you start with a bronze chest. It gets upgraded to silver and then upgraded to gold. And then you get another bronze chest, gets upgraded to silver and upgrades to gold. And the reason why this has a strange border is because the you don't quite get a platinum chest, or sorry, a diamond chest. You used to get a diamond chest for successfully completing a forge, but now the rewards are a little different. I think instead of getting a ton of gold that you would get in a diamond chest, you get 2 packs, I think. Anyway, the High Council. Let's see. This hand is really slow. I'm going to go ahead and redraw this hand. Perhaps that was capable. I had both factions and I had a few really powerful cards, but I think it was just a little too slow, and there was no guarantee that I was going to hit 5 on time to play those units. I like this hand much better. It's got an early blocker, it's got some removal, and it's got some top end too. Okay, just go ahead and play the 1/3. This can attack. It's usually better as a blocker. Spire Chaplain. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and Static Bolt that. Ooh, there's our 4th sigil. That'll let us play Xenon Guardian. And then I think the plan is going to be the same as the earlier game where we gave the Xenon Guardian flying. Flying endurance unit can be difficult to deal with. And getting up to higher amounts of sigils is also nice. We're going to go ahead and trade 3 for 3 here. The endurance on the Xenon Guardian is very important. Also the ability to give this +5/+5 late in the game, I think. Well, it may come up. And it's very powerful, so I don't want to just give that up. Anyway, we're going to give it flying, so we can go ahead and attack. Yeah, I think attacking with both is fine. If my opponent attacks with the Spire Chaplain, they get the sigil, but then I can trade it with the Cobalt Acolyte, which is a good trade for me. Trading a 2/1 for a strong 3/2. Anyway, next turn we're going to go ahead and play our Sapphire Dragon, which is pretty good. So they're holding back the Spire Chaplain. They don't want to attack it into our 2/1, apparently. Just play a 2/3 Endurance, a few random guys on the ground, that's fine. That 1/3 actually holds back the 2/1, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it back. May not be necessary, given that we have higher priority units, but if in case my opponent has some sort of trick. Ooh, stunning that and silencing it. Okay. An Oasis Sanctuary to gain 5 life. Okay, I'm okay with that one. Anyway, so I think that in case my opponent did have a trick, I would rather block the 2/1 with the 1/3 than blocking it with the Xenon Guardian and risking losing this in the middle of combat. Okay, we're going to attack. We're just going to go ahead and play the Northwind Herald. We are currently losing this race, but the Northwind Herald should change things. And I'll have a 6/4 Ground Pounder in order to make my opponent's attacks a little worse. So let's see. If I attack with these two, that puts them to 12, and then that's, yeah. It could attack with this here. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that. Does that change the clock at all? I think that this means that we get to kill them next turn instead of in 2 turns. Never mind. Oasis Sanctuary. But, I mean, that doesn't change the fact that my opponent's attacks are bad. So, yeah. Okay, so we have to attack with the Sky Snapper. I'll hold back the 1-3 now, because we have them dead in 2 turns. Oh, and we even have the Stormcaller to pick off this 2-1. And if they didn't gain life last turn, we would have actually done 2 more damage to them, and they'd be dead. Anyway, so it looks like we're just going to kill them with the flyers here. Okay, we get our first gold chest, so that's good. Four ones to go. Tales of Elysia. Sounds like my deck. I'm going to go ahead and redraw this, I think. I don't know. This one's interesting. It's got defensive elements, and it's got plenty of power, so if I draw something big, I can play it. I think this is pretty borderline. But on the other hand, Elysia, like, Elysian decks tend to be kind of slow. I don't know. This is this is certainly an interesting hand. I'm pretty aggressive with my redraw, so I'm going to go ahead and redraw it. That did not pan out too well for me. I don't know, this hand's actually not that bad. If this hand draws power, it's very good. And all the cards are primal, so I don't have to worry about not having time, although I drew a time card. Alright. Let's just get that Eastwind Herald out there. Probably going to give the Cobalt Acolyte flying. Okay. Lightning strikes aren't bad, that'll help us stay alive. And just give the Cobalt Acolyte flying to itself. What's it going to be? Ancient Lore. Okay. Well, the draw twos are definitely good against my strategy of playing defensive. So hopefully they don't have too many Echo cards, and we'll be able to. Oh man. Another Ancient Lore, huh? Silence. Okay, well, if they're using a card to get rid of flying on that, I guess that's not the worst thing in the world. Especially considering that they don't have any cards on the table. I don't know. This may be bad. Tyler's favorite? Okay. They certainly have a lot of cards in hand. But if they're cards like that, like, they drew 2 cards a couple times, but they were cards like Silence and Gain Life. So, it's not really card advantage when those are the cards you're drawing. Like, if you draw 2 Water of Lives, for example, the Echo isn't really card advantage. You just have 1 card that gains 6 life. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and attack. We got Chill here. Okay, that's just going to slow us down a little. Anyway, 1 more power and we get to play the Windshaper, buffing the Eastwind Herald and making our Wyvark a 4/4 for when we want to use the killer on something. There we go. I guess I can go ahead and play this before attacking. Alright. Our opponent also just has a ton of power. Even more power. Jeez. Okay. Well, that's 6. So that lets us play our Sapphire Dragon. Our opponent is in Chump Block mode, I guess. Get a 7/5 flyer here, and let's see what they have. Nothing. Alright, I guess I'll just attack with everything. Okay, so our opponent played 1 unit all game. We played a couple silences and stuns, but nothing that actually got a unit off the table, so we were able to keep on attacking them, and we are on our way. Here's the 5th match. Uh-oh, this looks like the Strangers. Yeah, okay. This is going to be tough. We have to redraw this hand, obviously. Only 1 power. If we can draw our Bold Adventurer, I like this pretty good, but aside from that, like, man, are we going to survive until we can get Kuriox? I think it's unlikely. If they don't have the 1-drop Stranger, that's good for us. Also, Windshaper does a pretty good job of blocking a bunch of 2/2s. Okay, here we go. Oh, Xenon Guardian. That is a great draw. I think I'm going to go ahead and curve out with the Cobalt Acolyte. If the Cobalt Acolyte just trades with something, I think I'm okay with that. Even though I'm trading, you know, a 3-drop for a 2-drop, it's not the most ideal of trades, and it'll get buffed by Windshaper at some point. Uh-oh. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and play the Determined Stranger. It's going to trade with one of these strangers, and but I mean, it's after it trades, then my opponent's strangers shrink back to 2/2s. So like if I played it later, the strangers would trade with the Xenon Guardian, and that's not too great for me. All right, well we survived to drop a Xenon Guardian on the table. If this guy can stick around, ooh gosh, attacking with everything. Well, I'm going to block. If they have a trick, they can go ahead and use it. Oh, snipe 1 damage. Okay. All right. This is looking good. Now we have the Windshaper that blocks very well. I can even give the Windshaper flying if I want. Ooh, the Odin Hurler. That's a better unit to give flying. All right, another good blocker. And then we got Curiox, and Curiox should. Ooh, that's scary. Well, they might be able to play a lot of strangers really quickly. Anyway, Curiox should hopefully seal the deal. It's just going to be, ooh, don't mind if I do. Free draw 3 cards. That is the card that is generated by Curiox, by the way, when you play Curiox. This is actually interesting. If I snowball, I can play the Northwind Herald for free this turn. But I suppose that playing Curiox is just better, right? Okay. And next turn I can Cobalt Acolyte to give this flying, and then that's 12 damage in the air, and that's a 2-turn flop. My opponent, however, with the Fortunate Stranger, is going to draw a card each turn with that guy. Okay, let's give that flying. I'm actually going to Synchronized Strike here and Snowball, because then I can play the Northwind Herald for free. So it doesn't make much sense to snowball anything but my opponent. And anyway, that should be able to seal this. I mean, they can play a ton of strangers, but they're going to have to hit a lot in a row and be able to survive my crackback. Alright, beat the strangers. That can be a tough match. I think that trading away my Determined Stranger, the one that buffs all strangers, early was key so that it didn't mess up my trading later in the game. Okay, 2 to go. Rule the Skies. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and redraw this. I can't play the Northwind Herald, and I can't play the Determined Stranger. I would like more power and potentially time. Okay, so this is a little better. Like, I can't play the Dormant Sentinel for a while, but hopefully I'll be able to at some point. My opponent playing a deck called Rule the Skies and having an Echo card in their hand makes me think that they have a Terrax Hatchling. So we are probably going to see that soon. Friendly Wisp. Alright, let's draw our 1/3 flyer. Nope. Okay. Alright, this doesn't work so well with the Lightning Strikes and the Refresh. I think I'm going to go ahead and let my opponent draw a card. Like, the Northwind Herald can keep the Friendly Wisp back. If my opponent attacks with the Lightning Strike, I'm more interested in killing that. Aerial Ace is nice because it blocks these Terrax Hatchlings. I just need to draw 1 more power for it. And with that in mind, I might not actually want to waste the Lightning Strike on the 2/1. I don't know. If I don't draw power, I can use the Lightning Strikes on both Terrax Hatchlings or something. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I should have gone ahead and done it. Okay, Static Bolt. Well, I can go ahead and Static Bolt this, and I can refresh myself in order to play the Northwind Herald here. So, I guess that's what I'm doing. Okay. That may have been a spew, using the refresh as like a dark ritual of some sort. Oh, that is something that I definitely want to Lightning Strike. Ooh, but we have the Aerial Ace this turn? Okay, so I'll play this. It's cheaper, so I want to be able to deploy at a good rate. Anyway, so our plan is to Lightning Strike this at some point. but they might not attack. I guess they didn't attack, which means that these lightning strikes may rot. Okay, so Scorpion Wasp. I'm glad that is not blocking my Dormant Sentinel this turn. If they go ahead and attack with it, I'm happy to lightning strike it. Yep, let's get rid of it so that when we attack the Dormant Sentinel, it's going to be able to clear out a lot of blockers, or just be able to attack unimpeded. Alright, there's the sigil for the Dormant Sentinel, and we have a lot of cards that are expensive, so we've got a lot of live draws right now. Humbug, okay. I can even give this flying. Does that help? I mean, I guess it changes what my opponent can block with. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if my opponent loses most of their flyers, they can trade off with this Dormant Sentinel. I think it's worth attacking. Yeah, that looks like what they're doing. I guess I don't actually get to kill 4 of these, I get to kill 3 of them, but that's pretty good also. Just trading 1 card for 3 cards, leaving just the 1/1 flyers around. Ooh, Wyvark. Oh, this would have been really good last turn, but it's still pretty good. Getting to kill the 1/1 flyer, and then that means that my opponent can't trade for the 3/2, because otherwise they could have double blocked with both 1/1s on the 3/2. And here we're just going to go in the air and try to beat them down. This is 8 per turn. That's going to be 4 turns. Determined Stranger. You know what? I can actually attack with these guys also. Clear a path on the ground for my Determined Stranger. Just kill them a little faster. Alright, I think we're looking... Oh, Horned Varlunk. Well, that stops my Determined Stranger plan, so we'll just go in the air. Still, this should just take 2 turns. My opponent's probably going to chump block next turn, so it's not quite accurate, but I think we'll be okay. Oh, and they'll gain health, so I guess we won't be killing them next turn anyway. That's an interesting attack. Well, I guess I'll lightning strike this, because that means that I'll have some good attacks on the ground as well. Another Humbug. So, as you can see, the computer beginning for, like, the first Forge decks you might face are not the most threatening. Alright. Let's just attack with the... Or we can do this. Figuring out the quickest animations to finish this. Okay, now we're against the boss. And that's kind of scary also. So the boss has the special condition, I believe, as it did in Gauntlet here. So let's see what we're up against. If we win this, we'll have 7-0'd our Gauntlet. Midnight Storm. No, there's no condition? Okay, maybe, I guess I'm just wrong. That shows you how often I play Forge, by the way. But it tends to be a much stronger deck than the others we faced. This hand has good stuff, but we definitely need power for this. Alright, our prayers have been answered. Unfortunately, we still need to get up to 4 to really do anything. If our opponent plays a Lethrai Ranger, we're in a lot of trouble. No? Okay, good. No Lethrai Ranger is good news. We've got some good late game in this hand with the Xenon Guardian and the Eye of Winter and just the Jotun Hurler, but we need to be able to get there. Drawing powers is definitely appreciated. And we're going to go ahead and play that Eye of Winter. Midnight Gale, that's a very strong card. So I can stun it here, or I can just get the Xenon Guardian down. On the next turn, the Skycrag Wyvark will be able to trade with the Midnight Gale if I want to. On the other hand, maybe I play the Stormcaller. Attacking isn't going to be too great against the Midnight Gale. And, but they could have, I don't know. I really don't know. Playing the Stormcaller also lets me team up with the Snowball to kill something down the line. But I think generally speaking, it's better to surprise someone with that than to use it here. So this Midnight Gale is definitely pretty scary. It's attacking for 4 lifesteal a turn after this turn. Lurking Sanguar. Okay, so maybe this turn I'll use the Stormcaller with the Snowball to take down the Sanguar. That seems like a pretty good use of our Snowball and our Stormcaller. We did draw a Lightning Strike, so that's oh god. We did draw a Lightning Strike, so that's good defense against this. You know what? I may just be. Oh, there's a 2/2. I guess. Oh, they can't play the Sanguar this turn. That's what's going on. Okay, well let's keep on attacking. I guess I pinged them. I really wish I had something I could play in conjunction with the Lightning Strike. I think I'm just going to get this Wyvark down and kill the Cutthroat. It's killing that unit for free, and it can trade with the Midnight Gale somewhere down the line. Right? I'm dropping kind of low. Sanguar. I think I'm okay trading these two. I know that I love my Xenon Guardians, but need to get rid of need to cut down on my opponent's board. And I'll just play the Jotun Hurler. And I'll offer the trade here. Black Sky Harbinger. That's a very good card. And my opponent isn't attacking, so it looks like they're not interested in that trade. So I can stun the Black Sky Harbinger. Oh, you know what? What if I can trade this Jotun Hurler with something on the... Oh man, that is so good. My opponent doesn't realize that I have the Stormcaller out and I get to eat the Black Sky Harbinger for free. Wow. Okay, so those of you that are looking to abuse computer AI, I guess that is something you can do. So my opponent gained... Oh, shoot. Well, I guess that makes sense then. My opponent gained a bunch of life, but they lost their Black Sky Harbinger, but alas, it is back. Breaking the Aegis on the Aerial Ace. Okay, so, let's see. Well, I can stun this. Then attack with everything? Sure, I like this. My opponent blocks there. I'm going to finish it off with the Stormcaller. Get it off the table. Trading a 2/3 for a 4/3 lifesteal, essentially. I think my plan is that I'm just going to have to keep on stunning this guy. Alright, Blood Beetle, no problem. It's never getting through. Ooh, but I just drew a Sapphire Dragon. Okay, I want to get the Sapphire Dragon on the table. My opponent's attacks aren't great still. They can do that. I don't want to trade my Sapphire Dragon, so I'm going to take that hit. We've got a long ways to go to get out of this one, but I think we can get there. We're starting to get ahead on board. So I can keep just keep this stunned. I can pick off these, although I think I want to attack first. Attack here also, 9. I can keep this stunned. I can pick this off. Opponent gets to draw a card, and I'm basically cycling their Dark Wisps. But in case they have anything that wants to sacrifice units, happy to get rid of them. Oh, shoot. We're getting low. We do have the Lightning Strikes as defense. Wow, they could have... That's interesting. They could have killed my Stormcaller by shrinking this... shrinking this and then using the 1 damage from Vara's favor to finish it off. But anyway, we're going to play the Windshaper here, and then we still have power to stun this guy. We can pick off the 2/1. Yeah, and it would have protected the Amethyst Acolyte, which is huge. And we'll go ahead and attack for 11. So our opponent had a ton of life. They were at 40-something life, but we are able to, with this with a board advantage over them, we're able to close out the game in pretty short order. I mean, I think we have them dead next turn. We'll go ahead and play the Northwind Herald. That puts them dead next turn, I believe. Life Drinker. Okay, that changes things a little. It gains them a little bit of life. Too bad I don't have the Lightning Strike to break that up. Let's see. How much life do they have? They have essentially 17, and I have 11, 15, 16. I'm just short by 1. Okay, well, that's how it goes, I suppose. But we will be able to finish this out soon. Opponent doing a desperation attack, I suppose. Kill all 3 of those units. Don't want to lose to something random like an Umbran Reaper. Although I could just stun that anyway. Another Life Drinker. Okay, I got bad news for you, buddy. One nice thing about Lightning Strike is it can hit weapons when your opponent is attacking you. So, yeah. Lurking Sengor. Alright, so all I gotta do is attack in the air, and that should be Forge. Alright, 7-0 in our first Forge. Definitely happy about that. Aced it. Giving us an additional 100 Shiftstone, and we're going to go ahead and see what the rewards are. So I think that this extra weird looking chest is just an additional pack or something. 2 gold chests, and this one 1,000. Okay, so it's that's actually pretty generous. 2 packs and 1,000 gold. That's pretty good. Okay, bronze in the Forge League. Oh, and we get a quest to complete a draft. That's pretty nice. So that'll probably happen next time. Anyway, I did say that I was going to try to win. You know what? We may as well tinker with our deck before trying to win a PvP game. Anyway, Vodkin Staff, that's a really good draft bomb. It sees occasional constructed play, but there has to be an aggressive Combray deck for it. It used to be uncommon in the draft, which was just unreasonable. What does this say? Okay. Premium cards. Oh, I guess I opened a premium card. This is good for Shiftstones. And with each of these, we are getting some Shiftstones. Ooh, legendary. Scourge of Frostholm. I think I'll go ahead and disenchant that. It does show up as a sideboard card in constructed. Ooh, a Pyro Knight. That's also very nice. It shows up as a constructed card in sideboards occasionally, but yeah. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do some crafting. We're going to we can destroy extras. Well, yeah. Okay, so it gives you the option to destroy extras, cards you have in excess of 4 cards. And we're going to take a look at the rare and legendary cards we have, and we're going to go ahead and disenchant anything that we don't need, such as this Roland's Honor Guard. Eye of Winter and Whispering Wind are actually constructed cards that you see from time to time, depending on what deck. Like, I think Whispering Wind is a little shaky as a constructed card, but Eye of Winter definitely sees a good amount of play in control decks. Okay, so these are all good. We're going to go ahead and disenchant the Scourge of Frostholm. These are sweet cards, but they don't help us get to where we're going. Vodkin Staff? I guess I'll keep that around. Oh wait, not far. Argenport Ringmaster, definitely want to get rid of this one. And Curiox, get rid of this. And I guess the Champion of Wisdom is actually worth getting rid of. Occasionally this sees play, but very rare. I don't know. Actually, you know what? It's now that they've nerfed Shimmer Pack, it might see play in some Elysian decks. Okay, so anyway, so we've disenchanted our rare cards, and now we're going to go to our this is the Righteous Rakano deck that we're trying to build. We're going to see what we can create. Obviously we can't create the Deep Forge Plates or the Soulfire Drakes, but we do have, sorry, how much? Oh, I can't see the Shiftstone we have. I think that this is the most important card for us right now, Hammer of Might. So we'll see how many of these we can make. Oh, wait. Oh, okay, I can make all 4. I'll make 3, just in case we open one. We still have 1,200 Shiftstones. Sorry, I interpreted... Oh, I cut them from the deck list? Oops. That was a mistake. Back. Would not like to save. Oh, okay, that works, I suppose. Anyway, I interpreted this this on the, on the create all as being as not having enough to craft them, and okay, so the deep forge plates are still there. How come they don't show up on create all though? I'm so confused. There might be a bug in the program when it comes to this. Anyway, okay, so we still have 1200, so we can still craft one more thing. I think I'll craft an additional Valkyrie Enforcer. This is a very good card. Alright, so we've crafted a few extra rares for this. We're going to go ahead and add the Hammer of Might. Hammer. Get 3 of these and the extra Valkyrie Enforcer. And we also opened another Pyro Knight. So we added 5 cards. We get to remove some now. I can... let's see. What am I not too excited about? I'm not too excited about Crownwatch Longsword or Argentport Soldier, so we'll get rid of those. And I'm not too excited about these Minotaur Grunts. I don't think they're quite as good and constructed as they are in draft when you're drafting Rakano. But anyway. Okay, so we made a few changes to the deck. We'll go ahead and play a ranked game, try to win our first game of the day so that we can get access to those promo cards. Of course, when you're playing against human opponents, there's a little more waiting involved. So, to recap today's episode, I suppose you can call it, we did our first forge, went 7-0, which is great, maximum rewards for that, and we made a few updates to our deck, in fact, including crafting a bunch of Hammer of Mights, and we made some updates to our deck, so we are getting there. The legendaries are still going to take a while, but we're doing well. And looking toward the future, we're going to continue doing quests. I mean, hunting quests is just one of the great ways to accumulate a collection in this game, as it is any game that has daily quests that give you free stuff. But anyway, we're going to continue hunting quests. Then we're going to definitely do our first draft in the next video because we have a quest that wants us to do a draft. And yeah, after that, it's just going to be playing as many drafts as we can. I'm going to wait until I can silence this before attacking, I think. Or I can attack with a Crownwatch Paladin. I don't think it's worth throwing away a Pyro Knight for our opponent to draw a card here. The Pyro Knight is also potentially a body for the Hammer of Might. It's very awkward when you have Hammer of Mights in your hand, but you don't have any units to play it on. In any case, this Crownwatch Paladin is going to be a problem for the opponent. We've got a removal spell and a pump spell, and hopefully we're going to be able to just get in there with this. Okay, so opponent used a Ravenous Thornbeast, and I don't have a Vanquish on me, so I'm actually going to just attack with both and 2-for-1 myself just to get rid of the Thornbeast. I think it's really important to get rid of this guy. Otherwise, I won't be able to attack on the ground anymore. Alright, so are we trading Finest Hour or Torch? I think I'm going to use... You know what? I'm going to use the Torch here. The Finest Hour can help, since my opponent's playing a Fire Shadow deck, they probably have torches, and Finest Hour can help protect my units from a torch. So that's why I used the torch there instead of Finest Hour. If my opponent has a Dark Return, I'm in a lot of trouble. There's another Thorn Beast, but it does not have... oh, there we go. Okay, so that's actually okay. I can use the Finest Hour to win in combat here. Or I can just torch it, actually. That seems better. Yeah. My opponent looks like they're having a lot of Entomb synergies, so I can use the Valkyrie Enforcer to silence an Entomb unit. And getting the Hammer of Might on the Enforcer would be really nice. think that's what we're looking to do. If we draw another power and our opponent can't block well, we might just play the Hammer of Might on the Power Knight just to get the Warcry 3 immediately. Oh, that's interesting. Are they attacking? Okay. That was pretty aggressive. Can't block. Like, blocking plus Finest Tower doesn't kill this. Blocking plus 2 Finest Towers, though? Well, I don't think I can sit around and do nothing, so I'll play the Valkyrie Enforcer here. This is silence, like, this target isn't exciting to silence, but I think I need to establish more of a board presence if my opponent looks like they're interested in racing. Grenadin Drone? Okay, well, I guess that shuts down my Power Knight. Or does it? I can use the Finest Tower to push through some damage. Well, what we really want to draw here is a Sigil so that we can play the Hammer of Might. Ooh, Ornate Katana is actually really nice on the Power Knight because, especially protected by these Finest Towers, I can get a lot of damage in through Overwhelm. So this is actually kind of nice. If my opponent double blocks, I get to use a Finest Tower and still hit them for a good amount, 8 minus 2, 6 damage from the Power Knight because of the Overwhelm. Yep, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Even if they have a torch here, which they don't, no fast spell. Even if they had a torch, I would be able to use the second Finest Tower to do even more damage and protect it from the removal. Whoa, Vorpex, Great Ruin. Huh. So I have to either discard my hand or sacrifice all my units. Well, I guess I'm discarding my hand. Yeah, that's big. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the Hammer of Might on, but I don't think I can sacrifice my board because neither of the cards in my hand did anything without a board presence. If we draw 2 more power, we can actually... Okay, I'm not going to play that yet. If we draw 2 more power, I can actually ultimate this Power Knight and make my opponent double block it if they want to kill it. Could have also attacked here with the Valkyrie Enforcer and used the Sword of Ikaria to finish off Vorpex, but I don't think that's worth it. We are pretty low. We're not winning the race right now. Okay. Looks like my opponent drew a fast spell. I wonder what it is. Burn out. Okay. There's a piercing shot. I'm going to go ahead and attack here. If my opponent blocks, I can piercing shot the Vorpex, and I can Sword of Ikaria them. And I just realized that was actually really bad. I think I'm happier to use the Sword of Ikaria here, because my opponent has the top... Oh! Ah! Huge pun. Holy cow. That was terrible. The top... Okay, so that was a big mistake. The top card of my opponent's deck has Charge. Wow, that was really bad. I'm probably gonna lose because of that. I needed to wait until I drew the Sigil because then I could play both in the same turn. Instead, I made a huge mistake. That was very careless and have lost this game. Otherwise, would I have won? Maybe, maybe not. But that was certainly inexcusable. All right, let's try that again, shall we? Let's try that again. Alright, here we go. Peiku. Interesting name. Okay, we'll go ahead and keep this. It has a turn 1 Oni Ronin. It's also got Inspire, Finest Hour. You might want to... No, I think I just lead with the Oni Ronin. If I'm going first, it's definitely correct to lead with the Oni Ronin. If you're going second, it might be better to try to protect it with Finest Hour, especially if it's the only unit you have in your hand. But I think it's okay just to lead with this. It is the scariest thing you can see on turn 1. So, I mean, barring some, like, crazy Infernus draw, I suppose there are worse things to see on turn 1. Okay. That's, it's kind of annoying, but I guess it's okay. If that just trades with our Oni Ronin, that's not the worst thing in the world. The Spider is pretty good against, Rakano. It's not trading with, like... Oh, shoot. There we go. Well, that's going to be difficult for us then. We need a silence or quick draw or something. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and play this for justice now and inspire. Crownwatch Deserter. Well, problem with Crownwatch Deserter is it's a good card, but it's just going to trade with the spider if I want to attack with it. Although, my opponent just plays the Xenon Destroyer. They have to have a trick or removal if they want to keep it alive against this. So I might get that card back. I basically lost a card for free with the Vars favor, but I may get it back here. Devouring Shadow. Never mind. And another spider. Okay, looks like my opponent is teched pretty well against Rakano, so we're looking for a Valkyrie Enforcer. I think that's one of the best cards we can draw. Because that would shut off one of the deadlies. It would be a unit that can attack, that can Hammer of Might. This Finest Hour is looking real awkward here. Oh, well, I think we may be going on to a third game to search for that first win of the game. First win of the day. Not much I can do about this. Alright, well, we're dead in 2 turns. Or 1 turn if they have a rapid shot. And I don't think any single card is actually going to save... Well, I have the Vanquish for this. Okay, so... Can actually survive another turn. I can use the Finest Hour in order to kill this, but I'm still taking 2 damage, and it's not pretty. And if my opponent has any removal, then I'm just dead. But, I mean, what is it that they say? Never give up, never surrender? Okay, thanks for the game. Well played, I guess. Okay. Well, let's try that again, shall we? Searching for the first PvP win of the day in order to get those promo cards. You know what? Those promo cards probably aren't really even that worth it, right? They're just going to be uncommons and packs in the future. But I guess that future is not yet determined. I don't know. I see something for free and I'm like, I am going to achieve that, or I'm going to earn that, or whatever. So, alright. Let's see what you can get for us, matchmaking system. Bezlaville. Okay, this hand is not good. It doesn't have any units. This deck relies on the Warcry units, like this hand. Turn 1 Oni Ronin followed up by turn 2 Rakano Outlaw is very good against most things, so we're certainly happy to see that. Alright, Shadow Sigil and nothing. Good. Warcry. Alright, they have a Vars favor, which is pretty unfortunate. They do get our Oni Ronin quote for free, although it does put them behind tempo-wise. They're taking 5 here. And we got a Warcry out of the Oni Ronin, so that's something. Playing my sword here to get the free hit on my opponent. Grandin Drone. Okay. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take that down, start going after the Grandin Drone, and then have the Rakano Outlaw. I guess I could have attacked here first, but whatever. Have the Rakano Outlaw to block the counterattack. And we've got a huge Hammer of Might for if we ever draw another power. And we do need to have units on the table for the Hammer of Might to work, but we seem to be doing okay in that regard. Alright, shrinking this so that... Oh, they didn't attack. That's pretty strange. I'll just go after the Amethyst Acolyte. And then I'll attack with both. Since this has quick draw, my opponent still can't block. Alright, we've done a good amount of war crying, so whatever unit or weapon is on top of the deck should be sufficiently massive, and we have 4 power, which means that we can play any of the cards in our deck. Ooh, that's pretty good. Well, I'm going to go ahead and exhaust that so that they don't get the bonus this turn. I could play the Hammer of Might on one of these units, but this prevents a block. I don't know. Maybe I should have just put the Hammer of Might on something and then exhausted this the next turn. On the other hand, even if they get the bonus on the Grenadine drone, it doesn't block either of these Rakano Outlaws very well. So perhaps that was just bad. Oh shoot, that's not good. That's big. We need to deal with that. Okay, so what to do? We need a Vanquish for this, really. I don't think they're going to kill me. Can Hammer of Might something, but that's just going to grow the scrap tank. I don't know. If my opponent doesn't have removal, you know what? I want to split up the Warcry. It's been a while since we've drawn a Warcry unit, so I'm going to Inspire and hope to draw whatever it is. There we go. We Warcried, and then on the next turn maybe I can go after the Warcry again. Dark Return, huh? Yeah, we're going to need a Vanquish for that scrap tank, or like a Flyer to put this Hammer of Might on, but there really aren't many options for that. And I don't know if I can punch through this. Piercing Shot. That's not very useful because it just grows the scrap tank. Man, things were looking so good just a short while ago too. Well, I do think I want to get my Warcries on, but I just can't. I need another Guerrilla Fighter somewhere down the line to silence, or to what do you call it? To make the scrap tank not able to block. I'll attack here. With the Finest Hour, even a double block with the 5/5s isn't going to kill it. They would need to throw all of their units into the mix, or scrap tank. Okay, so it's unfortunately going to make the scrap tank much bigger. It's going to be a 7/7 now, but it does get rid of 2 5/5, so I guess that's worth it. And I can use the Piercing Shot to wow, they put everything on the scrap tank. Does that mean that they have that's interesting. I'm wondering if that means that they have like Ghost Form or some way of making this unblockable. We don't have to chump yet. Go down to 7. Piercing Shot this. Then start chump blocking. Okay. Let's Inspire. Alright, another unit is nice. I'm going okay, I'll attack with these two. This doesn't attack too well into this board. Yeah, it looks like my opponent's just going for the chump block. That's going to make a really big scrap tank, but as long as it doesn't hit me, I'm okay. Well, they can have a Rampage also, that would also kill me. But hopefully we're going to be able to... Ooh, shoot. That can also kill me pretty quickly. Yeah, well, I have to chump block. Okay, let's see. Sigil is not very useful there. Okay, if I Hammer of Might this guy and attack with both, I'm dead on the backswing, but my opponent doesn't know that. Am I? They have to block one of these. I think this is the plan. Hit them for 10 and then piercing shot to finish them off. Alright. So they have to leave 2 back next turn in order to survive this hit. Okay. That's huge, but okay. Alright, so hopefully Rakano Outlaw survives, and I can hit them one more time with these guys, or hit them once with these guys. If they attack with either unit, they're going to die. If they don't attack with either unit, I actually can't really attack into this board. Not until I can finish off the Horse Snatcher bat with something. Oh, there's another 10-10. Never mind. Okay, here we go. Okay, so all I need to do is hit them with the 10-10, and then piercing shot to finish them off. Of course, if they draw a torch or a piercing shot of their own, then I'm dead. Uh-oh, that's not a good sign. Oh, they drew a torch. Okay. Wow, we are fighting really hard to get this one win. This is unbelievable. That game was looking so good too. We draw a torch. If we had drawn a torch instead of them drawing a torch, we would have won that. Because we would have been able to clear the blocker and attack through for 11. Okay, let's see. This is a bit slow, but I think it's keepable. It's got both factions. It's got a good mix of cards. It's got like units as well as spells. Oh, and it can even play that Oni Ronin on turn 1. Unfortunately, we've played against decks that have like these Grenadin drones a couple times, and this is tough because it blocks our Oni Ronins pretty well. It's difficult to deal with cards like Vanquish and Torch that are single target removal, and generally good at trading up with units, removing cards that are more expensive than itself. Okay, no blocks. This hand has a Valkyrie Enforcer, which is pretty nice though. Alright, just gonna go ahead and Inspire here. I don't think I want to trade the Finest Hour for one of these Grenadins. Okay, that's nice. And you know what? If they have a torch, which is what it looks like, I think I want to wait until turn 4 to play the Valkyrie Enforcer. So I can protect it, and then I can use Hammer of Might in order to finish one of these guys off. Ooh, Elder's Feather? Okay, that's pretty aggressive. Alright, well, I can use the Sword of Ikaria to take that down. There's our Evolved 3. So yeah, I'm just going to take this down. Not messing around here. And not bothering trading this 2-1 for the 1-1. Especially with the Minotaur Grunt, I think that's kind of a foolish play. Anyway, if our opponent plays something that we want to silence, we can go ahead and play the Valkyrie Enforcer and have... Oh yeah, that's fine. And have Finest Hour up. Or also, if our opponent gets careless, we can play the Hammer of Might on the Oni Ronin and just get in there. I don't hate that. I do not hate that. 1 torch isn't going to be enough. They can use 2 torches, but I still get the 4 Warcries from this. The Hammer of Might gives Warcry 3 this turn, and that adds to the 1 Warcry that this gets. Paladin's Oathbook. Huh. Okay, well, it's still going to be... Still got a 6-5 coming down at you. Wow, that is aggressive. Okay, so I'm going to take 4 here. I think that's probably okay. Well, there's a piercing shot. We'll attack first, see what our opponent does. Then we'll piercing shot this and play the Minotaur Grunt. I realize the Minotaur Grunt isn't actually going to be able to block this 2-1 because of the Oathbook, but you know, we're just using up our power as efficiently as possible. Getting a million Warcries here. I do suspect that my opponent has a torch in hand, or could be a Finest Hour, I guess. Ooh, that's pretty good. But I can silence that in order to shut it down. Ooh, or I can just torch it. That seems better. Let's go ahead and torch. right? So if my opponent had a Fire Star, they would have used it there. So bets are on they have a torch. They're going to try to trade the torch plus the Obsidian Alkalite with my Oni run-in, but I have Fire Star. Oh, they have their own Fire Star. Okay. Well, if that's the case, I will Fire Star to take down their Fire Star and their only unit. Alright. That's... Huh. I think they should have protected the Bright Mace Paladin. I think that was the way that they were going to be getting into this game. Field Captain. That is not a good card against Silence. Let me tell you. It gets +1/+0 for each time your units have attacked, but if it gets silenced, it becomes a 0/5. So that's not great. Alright, and my opponent concedes. Alright, we did it! We won a ranked game! I feel like that probably shouldn't have been that difficult, but, you know, sometimes it is. Anyway, that'll do it for this section. We get our Vara's Journey promos. I'll do it for this section of this Let's Play series. I'll be back on in the future with our first draft, and that should be really exciting because I love drafting, and I think a lot of people enjoy it as well. And I think I'm a pretty good drafter. I was 15th last season, so yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoy your time away, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.